So let's take a look at why organizations choose to move to the cloud. So if you asked me this question a couple of years back, I would have probably said something like to reduce your costs. But since then, we've seen that that's not necessarily always the case. But it definitely helps simplify costs and infrastructure. What I mean by that is that you are taking, if you choose to implement your data center in-house, you are spreading your costs across multiple vendors, across multiple teams, and little by little, those costs tend to add up, especially as you go across the years in regular upkeep, maintenance, security patches, etc., etc. So moving to the cloud, usually a SaaS solution significantly helps simplify your costs because now you're putting all of those costs into one place, in one bucket, and that also gives you the power to reduce costs if possible. And definitely it simplifies your infrastructure because you're no longer working with multiple teams. You no longer have to deal with different vendors, different technologies, but you're working with one system. So this greatly reduces your upfront cost. Keep in mind that just goes from a capital budget to an expense budget, but that is quite a selling point for most medium to small companies as well. And then, of course, you get to keep up with all the new features that the cloud has to offer. It's a very competitive market landscape out there, and all SaaS vendors try to keep up with all the technologies that are even being thought about. Not just talked about, even thought about. So not only do you get access to all those features that are in vogue, on fire, very hot, whatever you call it, and you get to choose when you want to adopt and implement those features as well. At the same time, security updates are very, very critical for any organization. With all the breaches and hacks happening today, we see that most of them happen because of security patches that were widely available, but usually just missed just because the customer couldn't get to it in time. So this is all on the software provider, rather the service provider, to keep up to date. And most service providers take that very, very seriously. So you get access to all the latest features as well as the updates. And your just security is data centric, and and usually in most cases, that is 99% of the time, it satisfies all the compliance requirements that your data requires. And then, of course, with SaaS, it is quite easy to add capacity because the service provider is one of the main point of revenue is that they are making the system available to you, as many users as you want. So they are geared to not just making the system uptime, but also being able to expand the system quickly so that you can take advantage of that. So you can definitely start small and expand as needed, as well as this gives you the capability to update your business processes as required. So that adds a certain amount of agility to your solution as well.